Just so you know, this show is about scary stuff. So don't say I didn't warn you guys. And remember, don't be scared.
Episode 51, Prom Day. War Baby here with another episode of Murderous Minors.
Before a tragedy, there are always what my good friend David Bernstein, who's a threat assessment specialist, says, leakage. It's called leakage. When someone is going to do something horrific, they begin to leak the information prior to the event. One person knew something over there, one person knew something over there, but nobody put the puzzle together until after Maren was killed.
When a juvenile commits the heinous act of murder, we want to place blame and find out who we can hold accountable. We hope a child wouldn't just spontaneously kill someone without some sort of provocation, a traumatic incident, an underlying emotional issue, undiagnosed mental illness, a history of abuse or neglect, right? But often they do just that, explode in a rage so blinding that the consequences of their actions cannot be seen through the eyes they've shut so tightly against reality. Even then, though, there are signs, just like we always say. The key is being able to read them. On this episode of Murderous Minors, we visit the opposite side of the country from last time, stopping in seaside Milford, Connecticut, and Jonathan Law High School. As the school year began to wind down, students excitedly prepared for their junior prom to be held on October 25, 2014. Milford, Connecticut is a quaint community nestled between Bridgeport and New Haven. In middle school at Western Shore and into high school at Jonathan Law, Maren, Victoria Sanchez, and Christopher Plaskon had been friends. I'm pleased to tell you that joining me on this episode is Maren's mother, Donna Cimarelli. She was kind enough to walk us through the excruciating details leading directly to her daughter's murder. Thank you again, Donna. Murderous Minors is brought to you by Best Fiends. True crime is my passion, but even I need the occasional break. So when I feel like I need a mental palate cleanser, my go-to refresher is Best Fiends. While Best Fiends has challenging puzzles, it's a casual game anyone can play, although it's made for adults. The levels aren't timed, which really helps relax me after hours and hours of researching murder. I'm currently on level 261, and I like to play at least twice a day. Maybe 3 minutes, maybe 30, but I love checking in to receive and send gifts to my friends and family that play, plus check in on my free spins and challenges that go along with the actual game. The levels on Best Fiends are definitely increasing in difficulty, but my strategy also increases with each replay, and eventually I get past it, all without spending a dime. If you want to level up faster, in-app purchases with frequent special deals are available too, but the game itself is free to download. This game is unique and exciting and a breath of fresh air from my usual games. Best Fiends is constantly updating and making itself more fun and interesting for its players. And the best part is, you don't need an internet connection to play, so you can literally enjoy the game anywhere. Engage your brain with fun puzzles and collect tons of cute characters. With over 100 million downloads, this 5-star rated mobile puzzle game is a must-play. Download Best Fiends free on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends. So, Maren and Chris were friends, and frankly, Maren considered mostly everyone to be her friend. By the age of 16, she had established herself as a talent. President of her freshman and sophomore classes, Maren was athletic and a National Honor Society student. Whether it was in photography, drama, or making her own clothes and furniture, Maren did it, and she did it her way.
She actually, the night before the prom, I forgot about this. She was at school late because she was working on the set for that. And I remember telling her, that I didn't want her to do that because it was the night before prom and I wanted her to, get some sleep. And the next day she had to go to school till 10:30, and then they all got released to get ready for the prom that evening. And so the night before she was working on the set for Little Shop of Horrors and really excited about it. She didn't get home till around 8 that night because of committing herself to that.
She taught herself the guitar and loved to sing, blessed with a voice people wanted to hear. A thoughtful, caring girl, she never wanted to hurt people's feelings.
Maren was a very, very mature, responsible young girl, raised by just me. She saw her father occasionally, but barely ever. I was really, really not strict, like I let her do things, but I was very adamant about her being self-sufficient. She was a kind soul with a very big heart and really wanted people to feel good and constantly rooted for the underdog.
As I'm sure we can all agree, such types often find themselves entangled with another person long past when their ties should have been severed. And that's how it was for Maren and Chris. They knew each other for a few years, but over time, the nature of their relationship became lopsided.
Yeah, they were friends. He wasn't in her circle of friends that I can recall. She did go over his home a few times and play video games with him. It was odd to me, and I didn't really want her to go at first because I realized it was a boy. But she ended up playing video games with him a couple times at his house. I wasn't really comfortable with it, but she convinced me that they were just friends, and, so I let her go. But as far as the kids that entered into my home on holidays or birthdays or sleepovers, he was never involved in the group. Where it really started was Maren had come to me one day, and she had asked me if that her friend Chris was having a birthday, and he was going into the city with his parents, and he could invite one friend, and he wanted her to go. I quickly said to her, of course, my mother's intuition, I quickly said to her no. And she had this look on her face, and she was like, why? And I said, because, Maren, it doesn't make sense to me. I said, do you like this boy? And she's like, well, he's my friend. And I said, then no, I don't think it's a good idea because he clearly likes you more, or else he would have asked one of his buddies to go. And she said to me, which is why I let her go, she said to me, Mom, you don't understand. I am his buddy. So I remember at her age having boys that were my friends that I didn't date. So I thought, okay, let me talk to his mother, have her call me. So she called me, and I don't remember the whole conversation. It was short. But I did say to her I was concerned about Maren going, why he was asking her, but that she really wanted to go, and I just wanted to touch base with you to ask you what the plans were for the day and if it, in fact, was okay for Maren to go. And she said, oh, yeah, we're just going in. We're going to have a bite to eat. We're going to walk around. There's no set plans. And, we're going to just make a day of it, and we will, bring her home. So I felt comfortable with it, so I let Maren go. I don't remember the details of the day. I basically let Maren talk me out of what I was saying at first. So she went, and then this is where it started, because she came home, I remember, early. It was raining, I think, but it's so long ago now, I don't really remember. It's like 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. But I said to her, well, maybe 7. So I said to her, why are you home so early? And she said to me, Mom, it was really, really strange. And the minute she said that to me, I got a pit in my stomach because I thought to myself, I shouldn't have let her go. Now, I didn't even know anything. I didn't know that this kid had any kind of issues. I knew nothing. All I knew is that what I was feeling, that I shouldn't have let her go. And she hadn't even said anything at that moment. And I said, why? What happened? And she said, Ma, Chris was in and out of mood swings all day long. She said he would talk to me, and then he would ignore me, and then he wouldn't talk to me for an hour. And she said it was so uncomfortable. And then she said, I had lunch with his parents, and he went outside and sat out there while I was in the restaurant with his parents. And I was just thinking, that's really weird. So I said to her, listen, my advice to you is that now you're going to distance yourself from this boy. His actions aren't correct. There's something wrong. It's clear there's something wrong. So from now on, this friendship is over. And she agreed because she really, really felt uncomfortable that day. So that was where it all began. Because when I was questioned after Maren passed, if Maren had spent time in New York with him, and I had completely blocked it out of my mind. I couldn't even remember. The first thing I said is absolutely not. I would never let her go to New York with him. Like I literally, my brain just like shut down. And probably because I knew in my psyche that that was where it all started. You know what I mean? And I couldn't remember for weeks until it came to me. And then I went to the police department and said, oh my God, I remember she did go to New York. And then that's when I started thinking about all the things that were going on. She handled Chris the way she handled Chris, and I don't know how that was because I didn't question her. I just let her distance herself, and his name didn't come up. So I figured, overdone, you know, a boy that liked her too much, she didn't like him, he's now out of the picture, life moves on, never thought of him again. Until she said to me, Chris keeps texting me and asking me why I'm not hanging around with him and why I don't know, I don't remember what she said. Sit with him in the I don't know what she said. I don't think it was the cafeteria, but
right. But she said he's bugging me.
Yeah, he was basically beginning to manipulate her, and that's exactly what my mission statement is in my foundation: that to teach young women about psychological and emotional manipulation, because that comes first before physical violence. And he began to make her feel bad, and she was one of those girls that you could do that to because she was a kind soul. That was something that may not have worked on other girls, but it would work on Maren. And so because of that, I was extra tough with her. And I would say to her, I would have an attitude about it. I would say to her, tell him to get the hell away from you. You know what I mean? Like I would never pussyfoot around it. End it, stop it, tell him to stop. You know what I mean? Like this is not a discussion. And so because I came at her like that, she probably was pushing him away because she did listen to me. She may not have liked everything I said, but she did listen to almost everything I told her. So that started happening. Then one day I come home from work and she's in the living room and she's clearly shaken, like almost sort of on the verge of tears. And so I said to her, what's the matter with you? And she said, Mom, it's Chris. And immediately I said to her, what the hell does he want? Because I had such a bad vibe about him already, about the trip to New York and him trying to make her feel bad. And meanwhile, I don't even know what this kid looks like because I've never met him in my entire life. So I have this thing against him, because I'm thinking, I don't like what he's doing. So I said, what's going on? And she said, Mom, he texted me and he said that he's in the neighborhood and he has no coat. And this was in the middle of winter. And, Simone, when I look back now, my first reaction to Maren was I pointed at her and I said, you did not let him in this house, did you? And she said to me, no, Mommy, no. And I went, don't you ever let that boy in this house. And I don't know why I said that, but I knew in my heart that there was something wrong with him. But I didn't know it. Do you know what I mean? It was just a feeling. I don't know if he was outside or just texting her in the neighborhood, But she didn't let him in, and she was worried because he had no coat and he was cold. So he was accomplishing what he was trying to accomplish. And I said to her, I'm going to tell you something right now, Maren. He walked here. He's going to walk home. And I thought to myself at that moment, I should get his parents' number and call them. But then again, I thought, maybe he's not outside without a coat. Maybe he's just doing that to try because he likes her. You know what I mean? So I really, they were young. I didn't see a physical threat at all. What I saw was a lovesick boy that was infatuated with my daughter, and she just didn't like him that way. And that had happened to me so many times